guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today's video is a very long overdue video and I am so excited to finally sit down and film it for you guys. This is gonna be my postpartum body journey, the whole process from right after baby till now. My baby is 14 months old, and so I am well over a year postpartum, so I feel like it is a great time to sit down and kind of recap everything for you guys, talking about my journey mentally and physically and what that all entailed, the changes in my body, kind of what I did to get my pre-baby body back, my diet, my exercise routine, and answering your guys' questions that you sent to me on Instagram. So I want to try and cover as much as possible in this video. There's so much to cover for postpartum that I know I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video, but I just really want to cover as much as I can because this topic is super important to me, and I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about postpartum, how to handle it, how to see your body look so different, how to get back, and just what I did and my experience. So that's what this video is going to be about. I am going to be referencing my phone because I have everything written out so I don't miss anything. So I'm just going to jump right in so that we can cover it and it not be taking forever to get through everything. So here we go. So first of all, I just want to say everybody's body is so different, so your postpartum journey is going to be completely different from somebody else's, and I think that's something so important to know when it comes to postpartum bodies and the whole process of getting back to pre-baby or just back to your healthiest self that makes you feel the most comfortable and confident. There are people that bounce back really fast and you're like, wow, you look like you didn't have a baby 1 month later. And then there are people that it's a year later and they're still trying to kind of get back to that healthiest version of themselves where they feel the best and where it's kind of like that pre-baby body. And that's normal. Everybody is gonna have a different experience. Everybody has a different pregnancy journey. Everybody has a different postpartum journey. And I think that's so crucial to know because it's really, really easy to compare yourself. I remember looking at people who had a baby and like 3 weeks later looked small again and looked like themselves before baby already. And I didn't, and I did not bounce back. That was not the case for me. I had a very long postpartum body process and journey, and I just want to say right now that if you didn't bounce back, that's okay, and that's really normal, and it's actually not as normal or common to just boom be right back to pre-baby. Some people are really lucky, they have really great genetics, or they didn't gain very much weight and it was easy to bounce back. There are so many factors that happen, and no journey is you know, right or wrong. It just is what it is. So I just want to say that at the beginning, to try not to compare your postpartum body to somebody else's, especially with social media. I feel like we see the bounce back, that's what we see, but it takes your body a long time to even like have your uterus go back to the size that it was before pregnancy, and to kind of just have your organs heal and have your body recover, let alone being like toned again and small again and lost all the weight and get all your muscle back. Like there's a lot of healing that happens. So be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, and try really hard not to compare, because that will put you in this hopeless, disappointed, insecure rut, which I really did experience. And I'm going to be super honest about my postpartum experience because it was a hard one for me, and it was a long one as well, and a very slow process. I want to start with some mistakes that I feel that I made during pregnancy that didn't help my postpartum experience, that probably made it take longer, that made it harder, and I want to just kind of cover what I think I did wrong and what I will definitely do differently the next time around. I think that for the whole pregnancy process, how you prepare for pregnancy really has a lot to do with the type of pregnancy you have, and then what you do during pregnancy I think affects your postpartum experience. So I think it's kind of one thing leads to another, and setting yourself up for success in pregnancy will really help with postpartum, and there are a few things that I will definitely be doing differently to try and help have an easier postpartum experience next time. So the first thing that I made mistakes with and that I'll do differently is diet and exercise. I do want to preface this by saying I had a very difficult pregnancy. First trimester, I was throwing up 3 times a day for 8 weeks straight. I could barely move from the bed to the couch. I had to get IV fluids because I couldn't even keep liquid down. It was really difficult, and I'm really not talking about first trimester. First trimester, you're just surviving. You're just eating what you can, doing what you can. But then into second trimester, I got hydronephrosis, which is swollen kidneys, which basically feels like kidney stones, which is excruciatingly painful. So I had a really hard time with my pregnancy, and so I ate whatever I wanted and I barely exercised at all. I was resting all the time. I was taking naps every day. I was relaxing most of the time. I was not moving my body the way I should have. I was just eating anything that sounded good and as much of it as I wanted. I gained 55 pounds with my daughter, which is a bit excessive. I do think everybody's weight gain is different. I mean, 55 pounds might be totally what's okay for your body. And 55 pounds for me, I just know was more than I needed to gain, and it made my postpartum process longer and more difficult. So this next time around, whenever God willing I get pregnant again, I will be eating more nutritional foods. I will be making better swaps, not depriving yourself, but making better choices, trying to get nutrient dense foods instead of, like, you know, fried food was my jam when I was pregnant. It was so funny because I don't like fried food. I don't like fast food. I almost never eat it. And during pregnancy, I wanted McDonald's, I wanted onion rings, I wanted Chinese food, and I ate it all. And I rested and did little to no activity. So another thing I'll be doing the next time around, and that I would encourage you to do, is just stay active in whatever way that works for you, and do it for as much time as is possible for you. So if that means just walking for 10 minutes, at least do that. At least do some type of movement and activity every single day if possible. Of course, there are always different scenarios, and some days you're just too tired, but just getting your body moving is so important in pregnancy, and keeping up with your workouts as much as you can and adjusting them in the way that they need to be adjusted. But I found that I lost all of my muscle. I was the most muscular that I've ever been in my life before pregnancy, and I stopped working out during pregnancy and I lost all of my muscle. And you need strength to give birth to a child, let me tell you. You need core strength, you need leg strength, and I really felt that I had lost that, and birth was extremely difficult for me because I had no strength. And I think postpartum was extremely difficult because I was starting from square one, and kind of regardless of how much you work out, you are set back in postpartum. You are gonna have to rebuild, you know, your body and restore your muscle and do that. But I had lost all my muscle. It had basically been 10 months of me not working out at all. So I think it's really important to keep up your routine and keep your body moving. It's gonna help you in pregnancy. You're gonna feel better in pregnancy, hopefully help control weight gain in a healthy way, because you do need to gain weight for your sweet baby. I'm not saying at all to restrict. I just never worked out and barely had any activity, and I gained a ton of weight. I ate whatever I wanted, and that was too much for my frame. I could just tell that was too much weight. And then I had so much weight to lose after the fact. I initially lost about 30 pounds just of water weight and all the stuff that you initially lose, but then I had almost 30 pounds to still lose, and that was a really high number for me. I have never had to lose 30 pounds before, and it didn't just fall off. It didn't actually even budge till my daughter was 5 months old. So I'll touch on that more in a minute. I just want to cover one more mistake that I made, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of where I was starting from, and definitely what I'll do different next time. And the last thing that I wanted to cover about mistakes and things that I think you should do is really make sure you're building those healthy habits before pregnancy and then during pregnancy to carry over into postpartum. So if you're going on walks every day and drinking water and eating good foods and doing workouts multiple times a week and keeping your body strong, that's gonna help you to carry that into pregnancy, because then you're not like, oh, I need to work out, I need to start this now. you're not going to want to start doing all that when you're pregnant. So building those habits and routines first will then carry to pregnancy, which will then carry to postpartum, and doing those things while pregnant will really help postpartum. I just feel like prepping your body is really so helpful in how you're going to experience postpartum and how your body's going to react. So building those habits beforehand so that it's not a shock to your system. If you were not someone who ever really went on walks or worked out or ate good foods, it's going to be really hard to start that postpartum when your body is starting from square one. You have to rebuild everything. You're a new mom, you're busy, you're tired. So building those habits beforehand, I think, is really crucial. And I do want to say with that, give yourself patience, give yourself grace. Of course, there's balance. There are days you just need to rest. I'm not saying every single day do a hard workout. Just move your body in some way, drink your water, eat good foods, give into your cravings when you need them, but try to not maybe give into every single thing that you want to the amount that you want like I did. Just trying to be more mindful of what you are putting in your body, how much you're moving your body, and just building those habits beforehand will so help you in postpartum. Take it from me, someone who didn't do any of those things, and postpartum was extremely slow and difficult for me. The next section I want to cover is body changes. People ask, what does your body look like now that you are postpartum? What things changed in your body? Like, give us the details of what's gonna happen when you have a baby. So, first thing I'll say of changes is your boobs. Your boobs change so much. Everybody told me this, but I was someone who was never insecure about my boobs. I never thought about them. It was just something that I never felt weird about or thought about. And after, you know, growing, your boobs grow so much in pregnancy, and then with breastfeeding, they're filling up with milk, they're going back down, their baby's feeding, you're pumping, there's just like so much stretching happening, your baby is tugging on them when they're eating. So much is going on with your boobs that no one is immune from saggy boobs, saggy mom boobs. That's what everybody calls it, the mom boobs. No one is immune. People, I've heard women with fake boobs still have saggy boobs afterwards. It's just what it is, and that is something that is hard to get used to, I will say. I'm so thankful for breastfeeding my daughter. It is amazing, and I would not switch it for anything. I would not change it for anything, but it is something that's different and something that you have to get used to, and you kind of look in the mirror and you're like, that's different. Don't love that. And I think something about postpartum body changes is you have to let yourself feel like, I don't love that, or that's different, ugh, and then still be okay. I think that's the biggest thing, is don't let these body changes just overwhelm you and take all your confidence away and make you super insecure. Let yourself feel those feelings, but then don't let it take over, and just be like, okay, this is a reminder that I fed my daughter and I birthed her, and it's just what happens. It's just what happens. And I feel like it is something that's hard to accept sometimes when you just, your body is different, but it's just such a small thing in comparison to the beautiful child that you got to bring into the world. So just trying to balance, like, don't love it, but it is what it is and it's okay kind of thing, is kind of something that you have to wrestle with in your mind, and you will get to that point where you're like, okay, it's okay. And hopefully you have a really supportive husband like I do, who literally couldn't care any difference between anything. He has acted the same amount of attracted to me as when I was pre-baby, pregnancy, fresh postpartum. Now it has never switched, never changed. I've never noticed a difference. So hopefully you have a really supportive partner that makes you feel beautiful and secure and confident. But that's one thing that is definitely different. Stretch marks is different as well. I didn't have stretch marks before, but I definitely do now. I have them on my sides and my butt and the side of my thighs. That's where like all of my stretch marks came, and all over my boobs. My boobs are stretch mark city. There is literally just stretch marks is my boobs now, and my sides. I actually, funnily enough, didn't get any stretch marks on my stomach, but I have heard people sometimes get them on their sides for a pregnancy, and then next pregnancy they get them on their stomach, and it can change. I think it's really genetic, honestly. I put cream on every day and oil on every day, and I still got stretch marks, and it looks, you know, it's fine. I don't know, stretch marks are something that it bothered me at the beginning a lot because they're deep purple and they're really intense. Like, I remember looking at my skin and I was like, oh my gosh, I look bruised, because all on top of my boobs, all under my boobs, all on my sides and my butt was like these deep purple stretch marks, and I was like, what? But they fade over time. So now they're like translucent, like you just look like your skin, like you can see the stretch marks, but they're not deep purple bruised looking stretch marks. So then they're really easy to deal with. Like, would I like to not have them? Yeah. But is it something that bugs me? Not really. But it really did when they were deep purple. So if you're kind of like, oh my gosh, my skin looks like it's just bruised everywhere and that's all I can see, they do fade and look like your skin. And stretch marks are something that I'm just like not bothered by now that they're the color of my skin. And it's just kind of something that goes with it. A lot of people don't get them, and I think that's more genetic than anything. But I definitely have the mama stripes now. Oh, and the last thing I'll say is I didn't get any stretch marks on my stomach, but I do have saggy, like, I'll show you, I have like that wrinkly skin on my stomach. Oh, you can see where I stopped my tan. Because I breastfeed, so I don't want my tan up here. Anyway, so you can see that I have like the stretchy skin right here. And I feel like as much as I work out and I lose the weight and I tone up, I still have that stretchy skin on my stomach. And I just, from the side, my stomach just sticks out more. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but it's just like, before pregnancy it was kind of like this all the time. And now I just always kind of have a little bit extra on the bottom part of my stomach. So those are things that are different. And I think that's just with how my stomach grew a baby, and now my uterus has grown and contracted, and it's different. And I feel like the composition of your body just changes once you have a baby. I actually weigh less now than pre-pregnancy, but I have less muscle now. I've definitely built a lot of it back, but I have less muscle now. And like my stomach kind of puffs out at the bottom half, whereas it didn't do that before, even though I weigh less. So things are just different once you have a baby, but it's not so terrible that I don't feel myself. I definitely feel myself again, and I'm really proud of how far my body has come. So the thing that everybody really wants to know, at least when they ask me on Instagram, is what did I do to kind of get my body back, my pre-baby body, because I gained a lot of weight. I will put in videos and pictures of my journey throughout this video. I gained a ton of weight, and you could really tell. I have never looked the way I looked before, and I had a lot of work to do to feel good again. Mentally, I felt extremely terrible. There were days, I just want to be honest about this, there were days I cried to my husband. I cried while working out. I looked at my body and I just didn't recognize it, and it felt like I was so far away from feeling good again that it was like a hopeless feeling. And it's just so weird, if you've never experienced postpartum, to look at your body and not recognize it, and to not have much control over it. There are things we can do, like I said earlier in the video, to help. There are things you can't. Your stomach is just gonna be bigger as your uterus is still larger from carrying the baby. Boobs are gonna change. I had cellulite covering my body everywhere. Places I had never had it. My stomach had cellulite, my arms had cellulite, everywhere. And it was just something I'd never experienced. I would work out and I would have this thick layer of cellulite filled fat on my stomach that would like roll when I would squat. These things are hard to see. Like, I'm just not gonna sugarcoat it. I preach a lot about loving yourself, finding your confidence in the Lord, and, you know, accepting yourself as you are, and knowing that Christ made you uniquely, wonderfully, fearfully made in Christ. That doesn't mean it's not hard to see your body so different, and that doesn't mean that you have to just be okay that that's what your body looks like now and not try to get your pre-baby body back. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to get your pre-baby body back. I just don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do think it's really important to be kind with yourself through the process, and it's really hard to do that because our minds, we're so good at being mean to ourselves, especially when you feel insecure and you're comparing yourself and things look different to you. It is a really hard process. Postpartum was so hard for me, especially when you're working out. I couldn't do basic things that were so easy for me before. Workouts that weren't even barely workouts to me before were extremely difficult in those first days, first months, first weeks, whatever, of postpartum. So be kind with yourself because it's a process. I wanted to touch on a little bit of what my body actually looked like compared to what I thought it would look like. So I was picturing in my head like, all right, I'm gonna be thin again, but just have saggy skin. Like that's what I'm gonna look like. So like I'll still look small in clothes, but I'll have a lot of stretchy, saggy skin. That was not at all my postpartum body experience. I didn't really have stretched out skin. I didn't have any sagging skin, but I was very thick everywhere. I had a lot of extra weight. My arms, my stomach, my legs, everything was so thick and full of cellulite, but I wasn't like sagging anywhere. So I didn't look small in clothes. I couldn't just hide the mom skin. I felt super uncomfortable because I looked large and I looked not my healthiest self, and it was really difficult because I wasn't picturing that. I was picturing, oh, I'll look small right away. I'll just have all this extra skin that I gotta tone up. No, that was not it for me. And my weight didn't start coming off till 5 months postpartum. It didn't matter what I did, the weight didn't budge. My body was not releasing the weight. So it was until 5 months, then my body just started shedding it. I wasn't even doing anything. I was breastfeeding, and that helps a lot with weight loss. But I was breastfeeding from the moment she was here on this earth till that point, and it wasn't doing anything till 5 months. And then I started to just shed the weight without doing anything, and it was like my body was finally ready to kind of get back. And then it did get to a point though where I needed to do something. It wasn't just gonna fall off anymore. So I do wanna cover what I did to get back to my pre-pregnancy body, weight, feeling healthy and good again. And that was starting with consistent exercise. And that for me meant picking a time that I always worked out. Her first nap was when I always worked out. It didn't matter if the house was messy. It didn't matter what else I needed to do that day. The first nap was devoted to a workout because I needed to devote that time to make sure I was building these habits and consistent, because consistency is what is going to get you results. So my sister made me a workout plan. I was focusing primarily on weightlifting and strength training. Normally I love lifting and I'm a HIIT workout person. I love CrossFit workouts and HIIT workouts, but I was really focusing on lifting to shed that fat, rebuild my muscle, reshape my body, and that was really effective for me. So just being consistent, always picking a time, no matter if you feel like it or not, because you probably won't. There was most every day I don't want to work out, but I do because that's what gives me the results. And working out helps your mental health, it helps your emotional health, it helps you physically. You feel better when you work out. And as much as I never wanted to do it, I always felt better after, and I would always be thankful that I did it because I knew I was getting closer to my goals and I was making myself healthier and my body stronger. So picking a time, that's just part of your day. Second nap was when I would clean the house, I would do the chores, I would relax, I would do that. So always picking a time for working out, and then the rest is for the other stuff, because it's so easy to wake up and be like, oh, I'm gonna clean the house and then I'm gonna sit and drink my coffee, because that's what we all want to do. But just having the discipline, stay consistent, and with that, you don't have to do an excruciatingly long, difficult workout every time. Just do something. On the days that I really just don't want to at all, I'll do a 15-minute EMOM, which is every minute on the minute, you do a move, you do a number of reps. So I'd pick, 5 moves, I'd do 3 rounds of it and I'd be done. But I was keeping that consistent habit, and I think that was the biggest thing that helped my fitness journey, is that consistency. The second thing is just eating more nutrient-dense foods, being more aware of eating good things, drinking a lot of water. Everybody says this, but it's huge in getting back to your healthiest state. And I'm not talking at newborn stage when you are just like not getting any sleep, just doing what you can. You have to let your body heal. You have to give yourself grace. But this is later on, you know, past the 6-week mark, and when you can actually exercise and have some time to make some food, and you know, you're into your routine a little bit more. That was really important for me. Breastfeeding, I think, also had a huge part in my weight loss journey because you burn so many calories breastfeeding. I've breastfed my daughter. She's 14 months old now, and we're still breastfeeding. So that has a lot to do with it, I think. And I mean, you burn a lot of calories breastfeeding, so that's a big part as well. And just having the patience with timing is really huge, because your body needs time. Like I said, mine didn't budge till 5 months, and then it did, and then it was really rapidly changing, and I'm seeing results and things are happening. But I had to give it that time. I had to be patient, and I had to trust the process. And I remember my sister-in-law saying to me, because I would really struggle and be like, oh my gosh, I'm 3 months postpartum and I look pregnant still, or I still have this much weight to lose and nothing's happening. And she said, Rachel, you just had a baby, so give yourself grace. And also, you've never had one before, so you haven't seen that your body can lose the weight and that your body will get back to where it was. So it's really daunting because you've never seen your body do it. So now, on the other side of it, over a year later, I see that my body can do it. I see that my body went from gaining 55 pounds in pregnancy to having 30 pounds to lose afterwards, and now I'm back to actually weighing less than before pregnancy, having my muscle come back, feeling good. But it did take a long time, and it did take consistency and dedication, but my body can do it. And now that I've seen that, I know the next pregnancy I will mentally be in a better spot, because it's not going to be this hopeless, what if nothing ever goes back to normal, what if I can never this, that. I know that I can. I know that my body just takes a little longer, and I'm not an instant bounce back, and that's okay. The last thing I want to say before covering these questions from you guys really quick is it's okay to feel out of your element. It's okay to not love what you're looking like. But just don't stay there. Like I said before, let yourself feel the emotions, because postpartum is really hard. And if anyone tells you, oh, just love it and it's fine, like, that's not really realistic, and that's not how it goes. So let yourself feel out of your element. But I think something that's really, really, really helpful is to do things that make you feel like yourself again. What I did is I didn't ever get ready. I didn't ever do my makeup or my hair or wear cute outfits. I love to self-tan, and I never self-tanned. I never did any of that, because I was like, what's the point? I'm just gonna feel like I look ugly. What's the point? I'm just gonna look big in that anyway. And I said these mean things to myself, so I just became this, you know, more frumpy version of myself that didn't put any care to herself, that didn't put any effort in, and then it makes you feel worse. So I think put your makeup on, do your hair, wear something cute, do something that makes you feel good, because I feel like a lot of times you're like, what's the point? Because I don't feel good anyway, so I'm just gonna not try. But then in doing that, you end up feeling worse. I look back at postpartum, and there were so many pictures of me just like not in the best state that I would have loved. You know, no makeup, greasy hair, which is fine, but I never ever tried to look nice, never tried to, for myself, just to feel good again. And I think that's really good. Finding clothes you feel comfortable in and doing stuff to make you feel normal again is really helpful. Dressing up, put yourself tan on once and do your makeup, and you will feel like a new person probably. Sometimes you just need to kind of force yourself out of that rut and give yourself the care and attention, because you deserve it. Even though your body is different, you're still the beautiful person that you once were, and you still are. It's just a different version of yourself, and you're still in process, and you will get back to your pre-baby self, how you felt, who you are, and you'll start to feel more like yourself. But it's so normal to not feel like yourself, and I want to normalize that. It's okay to not feel like yourself, but know that you will get back there. It's just a process, and it can be a long one like mine. All right, I'm really sorry this is a long video. I knew it would be, but I'm going to finish off with answering a few questions that you guys sent in over on my Instagram, and then I'll wrap up this video. If you have any more questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can DM me on Instagram. I'd love to chat with you about postpartum because it's such a huge part of our lives when you've had a baby. All right. First question, did I have diastasis recti? No, I did not. If you don't know what that is, it is just ab separation from pregnancy. There are a lot of practitioners that will help with repairing that, but I personally did not experience diastasis recti, so I'm thankful for that. So I don't have a whole lot of information on that, but I know that there are specialists you can see and specific exercises to get that repaired, but I did not experience that. Next question, was I supported in my postpartum journey? 100% yes, absolutely. I had the best support system, and I pray that you do too. I had the best husband in the world who was so kind to me and gentle with me through my experience, who encouraged me and supported me, and when I would cry to him, he was everything I needed him to be. My friends, my family, my parents, like everybody was so supportive and kind and uplifting and encouraging. I mean, through all different ways, you know, like my sister wrote me a detailed workout plan that was my holy grail workout situation that I did to get back, and my husband was the sweetest in the world, and my sister-in-law and my mom were all people I could talk with about this stuff. You know, there's just, I had so many people, friends, family that were there for me, and I just really pray that you do too, and that you find someone if you don't feel like you have that right now. How do I feel about my body at the beginning of postpartum versus now? So right now, I'm really loving where my body is at, and I'm really proud of how far I have come. This is definitely a different body than I've ever had, but I'm way more accepting of it now. I have more of an appreciation for my body and what it's able to do. My body is not just what it looks like, but it is what it's done kind of thing, and I'm really proud to look back and see that I made it through a really hard pregnancy. I grew a life, I birthed a life, I have the most amazing daughter on the planet, the most beautiful girl in the entire world, and my body did that. And then I also went from, you know, 55 pounds gained and all my muscle lost to back to my strong pre-pregnancy body that I feel really confident and good in again. And there are always things you're gonna be insecure about, always, as human beings, but I feel proud of the process and what my body has done. So I'm much more accepting of it now, and I feel myself again. Is there enough awareness around postpartum? I would say it depends on who you follow. I follow a lot of really open, honest moms who are real and raw about motherhood, pregnancy, postpartum. So I really felt like I was prepared for postpartum. I actually had a really difficult postpartum healing. I had an episiotomy, I tore, I had a lot of healing to do, and I actually felt like postpartum wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be because of how prepared I was for it by everybody's stories I heard. So I think if you don't feel like there's any awareness around postpartum, I think you're following the wrong people. I can link some people below that I love to follow. I think it just depends what information you're taking in. There are a lot of wonderful moms on YouTube, on Instagram that share a lot of honest talk about motherhood and about postpartum, and so I felt like I was really prepared and there was a lot of awareness around postpartum. But if you're not following any of those people, then you probably wouldn't feel that way. So I think it really just depends on the space that you're in. But I felt really prepared, and I felt like there was a lot of awareness. But also as a whole, probably not as a whole all about postpartum and what happens and people's different experiences. So I hope to be someone that can help kind of bring awareness about this. And I also want to quickly touch on this topic, and then I'll move on and wrap up this video. But I didn't really touch on the mental aspects of postpartum because I personally didn't experience postpartum depression or anything like that, but there are a lot of resources for that, and please always talk to your doctor if you feel that you need some help. But that's the reason I didn't touch on that, because I just didn't have that experience, so I don't really have much to contribute there. But that is also a huge, real, normal part of postpartum if you are experiencing that. So that's it. I think I covered as much as I was hoping to. And again, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys watching my YouTube videos so much. If you have any requests, please leave them below. So that's it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to follow over on Instagram. I would love to have you there as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.